Philip, a year ago, nobody would have imagined that we would still be in the midst of a pandemic early 2021. So what is the current situation here in France?
Well, I'll tell you what, Annette, I would like to be sitting here today saying, well, it was a year ago and now the pandemic is over. But sitting here now, one gets the impression that we've gone round and round the mulberry bush and we're back to square one because France looks like it might be going back into a new lockdown. The figures are not good. New daily infections, 26,000, a few more than that, 343. That was the figure for Sunday. Total number of deaths over 90,000, 333 in the past 24 hours. And the number of people in intensive care, 4,127, including 1,166 in the Paris region, which means that the hospitals are virtually overrun with new COVID infections coming in, one new intensive care patient every 12 minutes. That means the government is struggling to deal with all of this. And if you look at the infection rates in France, they are worse than in other European countries, notably Italy, where there is already a lockdown. France has 26,000 cases, Italy 21,000, Poland 17,000, but we're far ahead in France of, for example, Germany with only 8,900 or the UK with 4,600 daily infection cases. Now, why is that so bad? The English variant is the one that is causing all this unhappiness in France. It now accounts for 75% of infections. And if that wasn't enough, the French health authorities have just come up with a new variant today, which is called the Brittany variant, which has just been announced. And what's different about that? It was found in the town of Lannion. If you get tested, a PCR test, and you have the Brittany variant, it will show up negative even though you are positive. So there is still a lot more to do, plus what we were just talking about before, the problems with the vaccines.
So what are the alternatives facing the French government?
Emmanuel Macron is saying that there is going to be something happening. This is going to be a decisive week. We've had lots of decisive weeks, which in fact haven't been decisive at all. But I think we're getting to the point now where there is going to have to be a decision made by the French government about what to do to stem the flow of the increase in COVID infections. One of the ideas being bandied about by the government is the introduction of a curfew at the weekend in the Paris region, where there is a spike in the infection rate. At the moment, there is a current 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. There is also a Friday 6 p.m. to Monday 6 a.m. curfew that is being discussed in the Paris region. It's currently in effect in the Pas-de-Calais and in the Alpes-Maritimes in southeastern France. I mentioned the weekend curfew, which may be introduced, but there's also the threat of a new national lockdown. So all of those are being discussed by the government. There is a meeting today of government officials, and there will be a press conference by the Prime Minister on Thursday when maybe new measures will be announced. But the time is running out, and the hospitals are saying you have to do something because we soon won't be able to cope.
Now, on that graphic just there was the question asked, which was
by error.
Which was obviously about the fact that France has suspended temporarily the use of AstraZeneca. This, as the overall vaccine rollout in France has been widely criticised as being disorganised and way too slow. So what is going on?
OK, problem number one, France does not produce its own vaccine. That is a big handicap for France. Sanofi, the French company, tried to produce it. It didn't come up with a vaccine that was deemed to be efficient enough. So France depends on vaccines coming in from elsewhere. The AstraZeneca vaccine is being produced in Belgium. The company said it can't produce enough for the whole European Union. Only 40% of the order that it was originally saying it was going to come up with, 120 million. So there is a shortage of vaccines right the way around the European Union, also here in France. That is a big handicap, in fact, two handicaps. The fact that France doesn't produce its vaccine, and secondly, it can't get enough vaccines in to satisfy people. Third problem for the French is that there is a reluctance to be vaccinated, and that has not been helped by the current problems facing the AstraZeneca vaccine. So France has a total number of vaccinated people at 5.1 million, but if you look at the UK, for example, on this comparative study here, you can see that there are 24 million people vaccinated in the UK, so France is a long way behind. But the European Union says, OK, look, we're doing the best we can. We're trying to get this AstraZeneca problem sorted out as quickly as possible because we want 70% of the EU population vaccinated by the summer. But, Annette, we're still a very long way away from that happening.
Philip Turle, thank you for that.